Hey, listeners, I'm so excited. Today I have Mike Kinchin here in the studio with me, and this is going to be a fun and really awesome podcast.
Welcome to FBC Missions So That podcast. This is an encouraging place to hear how God is working in and around us. We know that He blesses His people so that they can bless the world around them. Join us as we discuss how to join God in all that He is doing. Why is God working in our life, church, and community? It's so that through us the world will know that He is near.
Well, hello, listeners. As I said a second ago, this is Brittany, and today I'm just blown away at what I've already heard. I'm sorry you didn't get to hear what I've been hearing for the last little bit, but I'm in the studio with Mike Kinchin, who's a longtime member here at FBC, 29 years.
29.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
Glad you're here today. How are you?
I'm doing very good. Very excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I know when I reach out to people, hey, I know you don't know me, but can I interview you?
Yeah.
So here we are. We've known each other for, 27 minutes?
27 minutes, yeah.
And we're going to dive in. But listeners, I can already tell you, you are really in for an opportunity for lots of inspiration. I'm going to say divine inspiration, because I've had the blessing of sitting here for a little while and getting to know Mike. I've been told by lots of people in the church, you gotta meet Mike, because we're both like-minded. We both love the Lord. We both love missions. We both want to make His name known where His name is not known. And so, Mike, you're doing that in an area of the world where we just say, a lot of times in mission work, if you don't really know the answer when it comes to missions, it's always
India.
Always. I know that, but why is that the case?
Well, it's the largest unreached group in the world. I mean, you look in that 1040 window, and there are a lot of places to go, but India is the largest and the most needy, and wonderful people.
Yeah. Well, I work for a missions organization that focuses on the 1040 window, but will you tell listeners, what is the 1040 window?
1040 window is the largest group area in Southeast Asia, and moves up even into the Middle East there, where the most unreached people live, never heard the gospel, lived their whole lives in those areas. And boy, it just breaks your heart when you see that. And these people, what we call unreached, it's a very small percentage of people, less than 1%. So the church has a burden for that. And our church specifically has one which we're excited about, and our staff, Pastor Jason, Chad, and the entire team supports what we're trying to do. So our focus is on that area of the world. We have partners we've had for over 20 years that we strongly support, that are in Uganda and Peru and Mexico and Russia and wonderful places, and we'll always support them. But God has really laid the 1040 window on our hearts.
Yeah.
And so.
Mine too. When I found out about that, I'll be honest, I oftentimes would, in my own probably security and comfort, say, but there's people here that don't know. How do you answer that now? I know I've learned to answer it differently, but how do you answer that now?
Well, I think it's absolutely true, and we'll even have people that will say, well, there are reached groups, places that people have not heard the gospel, and it's true. I think we just have to be very open to what the Lord's telling us to do.
Yes.
We don't abandon other areas. There are people that there are needs in areas where we would consider it reached. But for our church, and for at least, and I'm on the MEC missions committee, we just really prayerfully look and say, these are opportunities God's given us, and God, is this a door you're opening, whether it's 1040 window or not? Is this where you want us to reach, and what is the need there? And so we don't abandon those areas,
right.
And we are open to that, but we really need the Lord's calling, because you're right, you can get track in one way, and it's not exactly where the Lord wants you to be all the time.
Yeah, it's totally different when you answer that question with open eyes, open ears, open hands, and just see really where the Lord has given you access, really. It's a privilege to get to go anywhere He sends us, but where is He sending us?
And even domestically, we have 25 domestic partners in our church, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
And they're right here in Boerne and in South Texas, and we want to expand that even more. And there are needs right here. People need to hear the gospel right in our backyard. So it's not that you abandon any of it; it's just that we're open to say, Lord, expand our vision.
Absolutely.
Where can we go?
Absolutely. So the Lord expanded your vision.
Did He ever?
Well, tell us, like, because I know we'll get to the story of a mission trip that really started just moving you in a new direction. But before that, tell us a little bit about your family. Tell us a little bit about your roots. Even some of your skills. Give us a few little hints about the skills and things, the different places you've been or businesses that you've operated that have moved you towards where you are now.
Well, my wife Tracy and I have been married for 39 years, and so we've been blessed. We have 4 children. We have 2 boys, 2 girls, and we have 3 grandchildren.
Oh.
Most of them they live within our area here. My grandchildren live here in Boerne with my daughter Ashley and Tim, and then my daughter Lexi, who's the youngest, was married in December. She lives in Houston. That's the farthest. And then my son Luke works with me, and or I work for him, it seems like, but he's doing a great job. And then my oldest son, David, is a firefighter in San Antonio, so he lives in New Braunfels. So we'll see him again this weekend. Yeah, so we're very blessed that they're all close. So anyway, in my business background, I've worked in corporate, and what I really enjoy is having my own businesses. So I've been starting and owning my own business now for over 40 years, and various things that the Lord's opened the door for me on, from entertainment venues to retail stores and restaurants, and so I've just been blessed. And a lot of times I'd say, Lord, why are you taking me down this path or that path? And now I finally, after all this time, realized that He just was preparing me for this. In the last parts of my life, I've been asking the Lord for years. Okay, the kids are going to be gone, and we'll be empty nest. What do you have for Tracy and I? Down the road, and I did not expect it to be India.
That's incredible. That brings me so much encouragement myself. I think I'm about 1.5 decades younger than you, and it's like
rub it in.
I love it. Yeah, I see that over there. Oh. But you know what's funny is I work with like millennials and Gen Zers, and so I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm like, oh, Gen X over here. But it's so cool because in the past 6 years, the Lord even brought me a prayer to pray for myself that started transforming my heart, and like I've completely changed what I'm doing. I've stepped into ministry work at my late 40s, and it's like, oh, I see what you were doing. Thank you, Lord. Yeah. It was a little bumpy and at times frustrating. And now the peace and the joy that I'm finding, not that I didn't have fun before, not that it wasn't good, but it's like, I told someone just the other day, it's like all my life I've been carrying a box of puzzle pieces, but I didn't have the picture to put the puzzle together. And I've been like, even like picking up puzzle pieces, like as I went, I'm like, well, how do you put it together? And now I feel like I can put it together. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Yeah, that's exactly right. You're like, man, Lord, where are you taking us now? And those experiences. And now it's funny when I go over to India and I'm working with people in business, and they have all these diverse ideas and businesses they want to start, and you go, oh, now I know what, Lord, I was involved in that one or this one. I can relate to that. I can understand why they're doing it, what their needs are. And so now it's pulling it all together for me. So, and there are people in this church that, I laugh. I say, why me, Lord? Because there are people that have been far more successful or whatever. And I feel like they have far more skill sets than I do. But God will use you if you just allow Him to.
Amen. That's so good. So I had been invited to reach out to you, interview you, and I'd already been told that you went on a mission trip with your daughter a few years ago, and you had some like realizations on that trip that even perhaps the Lord stirred your heart. And so will you share with us a little bit of that story and how your passion has evolved?
Yeah, I had asked the Lord what He wanted me to do, like I said, later, and some dear friends of mine here in the church, Don Jones, actually, the Lord kind of made a really unique, very obvious opportunity for us to meet in an unusual place. And so the Lord was like, okay, Mike, you need to know that this is something I want you to do. And it was to do some work in Uganda for him, that he wasn't going to go anymore. So I went with John Knipp, who represents our partners down there and does a great job. So I went with John and Marie, and I took my youngest daughter, Lexi, and she was 16 at the time.
Was that your first trip to Africa?
It was.
Okay.
And her first trip to do anything like that,
wow.
To the expense, and it just changed her. She still has a passion for Uganda right now, and it's been 7 years ago. But
Africa does that.
It was great. We met some wonderful people, and as a result of that, I was fortunate enough to be on the board with Celebrate Hope Ministry. We were able to start their 501c3, here in USAA.
So you were using some of your business experience
Yeah,
to help that.
So we were able to do that, but also to see what they do, which is remarkable. They have started over 2,800 families where they've taught them how to grow coffee, and to sustain themselves, and to be able to provide income for their families, and it's been remarkable. And so Fred had a passion for that, and so I was able to see what they did from that perspective. So that changed me. Then I went back again a couple of years later with Pastor Jason and John when the pastor first came. And it was funny because he and I were talking in the airports and the whole trip down there about business, and then he was talking about how we can incorporate it with our business, with our mission partners, and help them become more self-sustaining. Because, remember during COVID, missions around the world were just
Shut
devastated.
down.
Yeah, and so these people need to not just be able to rely on money from the West, but they need to be able to self-sustain and how to figure out how to do that. So that's been a priority, and we talked about that. We were talking about BAM, and we really didn't know what we were talking about, the two of us. It was so funny. So when Chad came...
But that is so true. That,
I know.
Like the Lord's preparing you.
Yeah, he was. We were talking about that, and we got excited about it, but we didn't really kind of know what we were talking about, exactly what you'd call it. Then when Chad shows up, he goes, "Oh, yeah, Pastor, you need to go to this B4T conference in Austin." So some people call it BAM, B4T. In India they call it business for multiplication.
Yeah.
So it's all the same, and it's very complex.
Strategy.
There's a lot of
strategy for multiplication.
It is, and there are a lot of great reasons for doing it.
Yep.
But so I went to that, and I was able to talk to missionaries and people that are from around the world that have started these ministries, what worked, what didn't work. But the thing I came away with is that it's an extension of their ministry. And it's so exciting when you do it right and you do it above board. And these countries want you to come. They want you to come and provide jobs, and to be a good citizen, and to pay taxes, and to be an example. What an opportunity to be legitimate, and to be able to open the window to share the gospel, and to be an example to those communities.
It's like we were talking about integrity before we hit record, and it's so cool to think like I can go into a country with an agenda, or I can go into a country and say I'm here to truly serve, and whatever comes before me, I pray that I get opportunities, but if not, I'm here to serve. And that sometimes that's enough too. We don't always have to go with agenda. We know we have an agenda.
Yeah, that's right.
But I don't know, maybe speak to that just a little bit more, because there is also lasting impact in the negative. Should we, it become found out that we are here with this agenda in a country that says no Christianity. So I don't know if you speak a little bit to that, but that's just something I had never even thought about until I really started into perspectives, and we're looking at like, how do you get into these close countries where people are unreached, and how do you do that in a way where we're not lying,
Yeah, and I've always thought that too. I mean, it's just a blight on Christ's name when people go over there for the wrong reasons. The government finds out and says you're really here for you have an agenda.
Yeah.
You're here to. Sounds good to say I'm here to share the gospel, but then you're kicked out and shamed, and it's bad. And so if God calls you over there, He's got a right way of doing it. Yes. I feel like you do it His way, you're going to get His results. And for me, it's very comfortable to business to go in and say, this is what we do, and this is who we are. It was wonderful at the conference I told you about. A guy had been in business for 49 years in China.
Wow.
And he said, they know who I am, and they come in and they local officials, and they check me out and they go through my stuff and all that. But he said, but I pay my taxes, and I'm very actively involved, and they kind of laugh, and they know exactly what I am, that I love the Lord, and I share the gospel with them. But I pay my taxes, and I hire people, and I treat them right, and I do everything with integrity. And I think that's what we have to do over there. If God calls you to do it, He calls you to do it the right way.
Yeah, it's bringing up for me Matthew 5:16, where we're talking about letting our light shine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I met a gentleman over here that had been in India for 32 years on my last trip back in April, and that was his key. He said, what, we're not apologetic about what we do, but we do it, and we do it very well. And if they move us out, or they move us to another place, or they do it, it's all in the name of the Lord. It happened. I mean, look at the disciples. Yeah,
Matthew 5:16 says, "In the same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your heavenly Father." Yep. And so it's like, we want to go letting our good deeds shine. And if there's an opportunity to share, then we certainly will. But first, can they just see we're different? Can they just see the trust? Can they just see the love?
Yeah, it takes time to establish that.
Yeah.
And one thing I have learned, and I think it's very important, it's easy for us to go over there, and say that we're going to make a difference from the West. But the best thing you can do is teach the indigenous people over there to be the leaders and for them to do it, because those people are going to have instant credibility. Yeah. They're friends, they're neighbors, they've lived there. And so when they know the Lord, what a platform for them there in business to be a model to not only the people they hire and their customers and the people they come in contact, their suppliers, but their competitors, anyone there, the local officials. Yeah. They say these guys, they do it right.
That was one of the things. Yesterday we sent a team to Malawi, and I was blessed to go with them last year. And I was in awe. Like, we're standing out there in this village. I mean, first of all, what's been accomplished in a very short period of time with Kelly and Greg Nelson and their incredible hearts for the Lord. You talk about a light shining. And their whole thing is that sustainability. And they're looking for 100 pigs, and they started off with no pigs. And they already have, I can't remember. I wish I would have asked Kelly before they left the other day. But, it's like, that's so smart. Because why would you want to create someone to be reliant on me? Let's teach them to be reliant on the Lord and give them the skills to have the strategy to create and build that trust and that through Him.
Yeah, and Kelly allowed us last year as a business's mission team to be the catalyst to that, to kind of to get that started. So she's been sending reports. It's been growing, and they were working so hard.
So you probably know how many pigs they have.
Oh, it's so exciting, and same thing that Fred was doing with the coffee, and so that's kind of what we want to do in India in different ways. There's so many ways to go about it. Some of these people have businesses, and we want to help them scale that business and use better business practices, and some of them want to start, and so we're involved in training them.
Wow. Okay, so you were in Uganda. You end up kind of coming back and connecting some dots. You start helping with this nonprofit in Uganda so that they can be sustainable. How'd you get to India? Tell us more about that.
This was last February. My friend Doug Lamb, who's been a pastor in Midland for 32 years, we've been friends for over 40 years, and he was went to work with Two Every People, with Mike Jackson, who we support, and
still haven't met him yet. I cannot wait to meet him.
Mike's crazy. He was in Pakistan a couple weeks ago.
I know. I was helping someone with their mission trip under him, and I just sent him like an email, and he sends me this wild video from Pakistan of like, we're doing God's work, and he was like, I'm like, I want to meet him.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's something. I love him to death. But he has a passion for the lost everywhere. He's just on mission, and that's what he does. But so I met him. It was a really unique circumstances between he and Doug, and so they kept on and on saying, you just need to come. We're going to India in February, late February, early March. This was 2025. You need to come. And I was like, man, I don't know, India. I mean, I don't know. What am I going to do? And finally they said, just come. And Tracy said, you need to go. I just feel like you need to go. And so when your wife says that, you go, Tracy. Okay, Lord. So Tracy was really the one that, in my mind, that I don't even know if I've told her that, but when she said that, I go, okay, Lord, I do
Maybe
need to go.
Today, go home, give her a big hug and kiss.
Will.
Okay.
So I went, and I fell in love with. I know everybody talks about it. Oh my gosh, it is tough. Yeah. But I fell in love with the people. The people that have come to know the Lord over there, they are so on fire, and the church multiplication movement is real. I was even one of those going, yeah, sure. I don't know how. I don't probably understand all of it really well. And man, they showed me the numbers, and I talked to the people. And I went to the home churches, and I talked to the people, and through the interpreter, and I did my homework so that I could feel it. And it's real, and the people are so real, and they're exciting, and you can see in their face, and they'll tell you, you know what, he died for me. It's all I can do. I'll risk my life, and they do. If their family found out, some would lose their lives. Yeah. But they're passionate about what they do, and for us to be able to go over and be a small part of that, to be part of that whole movement in India right now by helping these pastors in my own way, with businesses and how they can provide for their local community and for their family, and also to support the work that's going on in the churches. It's just so exciting.
So how did you, obviously growing up in Boerne, raising a family here in Boerne, how in the world someone in Boerne gets connected to India, but like, how do you feel like that passion really was stirred? It was stirred a little bit before, but then you really get there, and is it the faces, the names, the stories? What created that love? Because when you said India, I mean,
I it's the Lord doing it to you. You can go and you can think, hey, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to start this business, or I want to live here, and it just sets right with your heart. When I was of the Lord's Lake Mike, because the other people I went with do pastor training, and that's the biggest things that the pastors need over there in the movement is they need more in-depth Bible training, and they need to learn how to provide for their family sustainability. They need to know how to make an income and be able to function properly. And so I didn't feel like pastor training was my gifting at all. That's not what that's not what I do. There are guys that do that and do it really well, and that's not mine.
So these are just regular, everyday people that come to know the Lord, and they want to start a church in their home, is what you're saying, and they become a pastor. Mm-hmm. So then they need help knowing how to pastor people, but they're not making money because they can't have like a church corner, a big building church, like they're doing it out of their home.
They're house churches, and they're trying to support their family. They're trying to support the local and be a leader in the community, and so it's a tough balance. I mean, this last trip we just got back 3 weeks ago. Again, how the Lord works. We went back to Amritsar, to an area that I went to last year for the first time. We did training with some people that we're helping them start businesses. So we wanted to go back this time and visit and see where they're at and look at their progress. And 3 of them, they set up for me to actually meet them in their homes, which we normally just kind of go to the business or whatever. And I'm like, Lord, why? I mean, it's like I'm kind of wasting time here, but okay, let's fine. And what I was able to see is how they really live.
Yeah.
And when I went in and I saw it.
Sobering, I bet.
It is. It is. And to see the pressure they're under, and to see the conditions, and to see that they're willing to work hard, and they have a passion for Christ, but they also have a passion to provide for their families and for the people that are in their community. It really made me really fully understand. Every time I go, I learn more.
Mm. And you've been 3 times.
3 times. And each time, the first time I went, I just say, this is India, what can I do? And then God shared with me what to do. So then we get excited about, we wrote a 2-day, 8-session training program on how to, is business right for you? And if it is, it's God calling you to it, and then 8 sessions of, okay, let's show you the right ways to start a business, and then once you're up and going, how to scale that business. So we spend a lot of time on that with them. We use Canvas business models, and we do a lot of SWOT analysis, a lot of different things we teach them. And so it's a lot of fun, and it's very interactive with them. It's just so much fun.
Wow. Well, can we do for sure a part 2 on just, I want to help our listeners understand this idea of BAM a little bit more. Cause I mean, you just rattled off like some incredible concepts, that I can really see other people being able to grab onto and understand and explore and figure out like where they might play a part. Because, like I said, to be here in Boerne, Texas, a friend suggests, let's go to India. And you're like, India? And clearly it was not on your radar.
No.
At all. And now here you are recognizing that there's people there you love. Yep. And also that there is a amazing movement of the gospel happening. And these pastors who are putting their lives on the line to share the gospel, and it's happening, it's working, it's multiplying. But they need pastoral help, but they also need business help. They need sustainability for their home, their family. They need finances. And you're meeting, God gifted you. He allowed you to have skills and experience to meet that need.
It's exciting. And each time you learn, I came back, this time saying, man, the church is multiplying. You can't keep up going to there teaching, training a few people. So the Lord told me this time, he says, you've got to follow that same format. So what we're in the process of doing now, they're identifying leaders in the movement that either have some business experience or can certainly grasp very quickly what we're doing. And so when we go back, we will actually start train people to do what I do. Yeah. That way we can multiply much faster and meet the needs. So the Lord just keeps opening doors.
So you'll train people there that are native. Wow. Yeah, that is true multiplication. I used to be a trainer of trainees, and I mean, that is the way that you make the biggest impact.
Yeah, you have to.
Addition only goes so far, but multiplication.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you follow that same format, and that's what the Lord just laid in my heart this time. He says, this is how you're going to, we need to do it. And he's also brought me, it's remarkable, he brought me my first interpreter, and the first guy I met there, Abi. He's going to come here and visit us in August. Can't wait for you guys to meet him. He's amazing. He's Indian, but he got a business degree, University of Chicago.
That's so
and,
cool.
And lives over there now. And but was my interpreter, but he knows business. So now he actually has sat through with me 3 times. So now he trains the guys like in different areas.
Yeah, because he's learned it.
Yeah.
When you teach it, you learn it twice.
Yeah.
And that helps so much, I bet, already with your movement.
Yep.
Do you have any idea how, I think you said the other day or the last time you were there, 60 pastors. Do you have any idea how many people you've already been able to help?
We had, let's see, we had 20 some odd in Amritsar, which is along the Pakistan border the first time we went and started this. And then this time I had 59 transfers I trained in Hyderabad, and then we had 29 that were in Delhi that we put together. They put that together 4 days before we got there. So they got to there as many as they could, but when we go back, we would like to be able to have large groups that we can train in different areas at one time. So, the movement's huge. So
yeah.
for 1 year, we're excited.
When did you first hear about India? When were you first invited to go? Was that February of 2025?
February for last year, yeah. I've been there 3 times now,
when
16
was
months.
the first conversation about India with you? How long did it take you to say
It was probably
yes?
November.
Wow.
Doug, and then we're 2 or 3 months of I don't know,
That's really not that long though. I've said I don't know for years at times.
And I'm slow about some things, but when the Lord hits me in the head, He knows how to work with me, so it's like no. And then with using Tracy and Doug, it was like, yeah, you need to go.
Wow. So I mean, in a very short period of time, you've probably impacted over 100.
Yeah, I think we've impacted
some great
and some more people than that we've networked with. But anyway, it's. Compared to what they're doing over there, it's a pretty small number. So
well, it is, but again, it's not. When you think about each one of those 100 represents a person with a family. Yeah. I get teary just thinking about it, and I haven't even seen the faces. Yeah. And so, it might seem relatively small, but to the one, and I'm thinking of the one. To the one, it's everything.
Yeah, into their community, the people they can reach.
So time always goes by way too fast. When I think about wrapping up at least this episode, I would love to hear, what do you feel like the Lord has shown you thus far in this experience?
That He has a long-term plan in our lives, and we talk about that. And we've always said, we even train my kids, the Lord has a plan for you, but that plan doesn't end. When your family's raised, and when God does, this whole idea of retirement for me is kind of like, it's just a different phase. Yeah. He has exciting plans for us till the day He takes us home. Yeah. And so this is a new episode in my life, and I'm excited about it. And just like anything else, you feel inadequate. You feel like, why me? There's people far more qualified or whatever. But He uses you, and the joy you get from it, and seeing those people's face, and the privilege of the Lord allowing you to even participate in what He's doing in the kingdom. Yeah. We're just here to serve, and man, for Him to allow you to use you just blows me away.
Would you tell me about one of those faces when you think about one of your trips already? Would you just tell us just a little bit about one of the faces and the family that it represents? I know we got to be careful with names and things, but.
Yeah. We had a family, a gentleman that really felt like he had come to our class to learn business, and I didn't know his situation. He's one of those where they invited me this second trip to go to his home, and I'd never done that. And when I got to his home,
can you help us to see his home in our?
Yeah,
in our
it's what you picture. It's just a little center block, one room. You walk in there. And there are several of these in an area, but you're out in the middle of nowhere. And you pull in there, and there's chickens running around, and dogs, and that's about it. You're in the middle of nowhere, and there's just these little concrete buildings, and you walk in the door, and there is actually a door to it. You walk in, but after that, it's one room. There's a bed in that room, or 2 beds. There's one little room to the side. It's very small, and that's where they have, where the bathroom is, and it's just kind of much a hole kind of thing. And then the other room is they have a little table in there, and that's where they have a little cooker, and they cook something. So it's really one room. And the whole family lives there. Well, in his case, he's 23 years old. His dad passed away last August. He has his mom there, and he has two sisters. One is 13 and one is 8. And he has to provide for them. And he's trying to serve the Lord. He's a new believer. He's trusting God. He has a plan, and he has some skill a little bit and some expertise in working with his dad. So the particular business he wants to start, he needs some help with it. But he's just a hard worker. But he loves the Lord, and he said, "I knew that God will provide." And here he is faced with a mom and two sisters
At 23.
At 23, and I mean, they literally he right now he makes $2 a day. And he has to provide for all of them. He makes about $60 a month.
What does it take to live?
And that's barely getting by. That's their rent. I mean, that is nothing. They have maybe two sets of clothing. I mean, they just nothing. There's no air conditioning. There's no, electricity's a light bulb with it. I mean, it's very minimal.
And I'm doing the math. If he's 23, I suspect his mom is not, but what, maybe in her 50s or 40s?
Yeah, in her 40s. And lost his dad. And so that was just an example of a guy that when I see him, when we're in a conference and we're training somebody, he's just one of the guys, and he looks sharp. And then you see the real world of how these people live.
Yeah.
And but when you talk to him, it's like, you know what, the Lord's took care of me this far, and I want to serve him. And so he just said, you know what, you're an answer to prayer. And you go, yeah, me? But it drives you all the more to say, yeah, this is why we're here. Yeah. So we're helping him, and he's going to start a small men's clothing store. He's one of the 100. Yeah. You're going to start a clothing store. And so we're very excited about it. He's excited, and I can't wait to go back and Abby's there on the ground. So we have somebody on the ground. We make sure that we always have some indigenous leaders there that can follow up with them. So I can't do that from over here. So we did set that network up already. That's critical. So they follow up and then keep me updated on what they're doing. I bet your prayer list is so long. The people you've met, the stories you know, that is so incredible and so cool. Gosh, well, as we wrap it up, is there anything else you'd add to this episode? No, I'm glad we get to come back together. I just, our church and our leadership, God's First Baptist Church in a unique position right now with the type of people that we have in our church, and their skill sets and their expertise, that God can use them in a mighty way. And so I'm looking forward to letting those people know in the coming months, that they can be used. They don't have to go to India, but or wherever, but their skill sets can be used, and all for the glory of the Lord. So, amen. Well, what a special opportunity to hear about, Mike Kinchin from here in Boerne, being called to India. And thank you for coming in. Thank you for taking the time to share your story and his story, ultimately through you. His story. Yeah. His story. And we'll be back. We'll be back for another episode, and we'll learn a little bit more, friends, about businesses, missions, and what that looks like. Because when we think about making his name known, you heard us talk a little bit about that integrity piece, and how do we get into these closed countries, and we want to, we want to do it well. So there's so many strategies, and so this is the strategy that God has given you. So we can't wait to hear more. Thank you again for coming in. Yeah, absolutely. So listeners, stay tuned for the next episode, and thank you for stopping by today. I know that this has blessed you, and perhaps it's also stirred something within you. And if that is the case, please reach out to the church, reach out to the missions department. You can connect with our pastor, Chad Mason, or perhaps Heather Austin. They would love to have a conversation with you. So thank you so much. We are so thankful that you joined our podcast today. We would love to hear any feedback you may have for us. Remember, Psalm 67 says, "May God be gracious to us and bless us, and make his face shine on us, so that your ways may be known on earth and your salvation among all nations." Don't forget why the Lord blesses us. It's so that we can be a blessing to those around us. Until next time, God bless.